Discipline, tradition, honor, forged by fire, built for legacy. This is Byronic Heroes for men who live by the code. I'm Benjamin Carey. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. They told men to sit down. Fathers never should have listened. There's a quiet war going on. No bullets, no banners, a war of ideas. They told fathers they weren't needed. They called leadership toxic. They mocked strength. But every strong nation, every strong family, every strong son stands on the shoulders of a father who showed up, set the standard, and stayed. There's a quiet war going on, not with bullets or banners, but with narratives. They say fathers are optional, that leadership is toxic, that masculinity is dangerous. But every strong nation, every strong family, every strong son was built on the shoulders of a father who stood his ground. This is the war on fathers. What it is, how it's fought, how men win it at home, at school, and in the culture. Nearly 1 in 4 American kids, about 19 million, live without a biological, step, or adoptive father in the home. That number has roughly doubled since 1970. The Census Bureau counts 9.8 million one-parent households, 7.3 million mother-only, and 2.5 million father-only. It's a national crisis. Meanwhile, men are only 42% of four-year college students, and women in the 25 to 34-year range hold bachelor's degrees at 47% compared to men at 37%, and the gap keeps growing. Men are responsible for 80% of suicides. 80% of suicides are male. Fathers are a foundation for a functioning society. We live in an age where fathers are mocked and strength is labeled toxic. Popular media often portrays dads as buffoons, out of touch or absent, and male traits like authority or decisiveness are treated as threats. Young men are getting the message that strength and leadership are suspect. Let's face it, we're not looking to raise cavemen, but there is a need in today's softened society for men to go back to embracing these traits. The antidote is not having a whole bunch of weak men running around the country. The solution is raising virtuous men, men with good moral compass, men who are cultured and gentlemen. There's been a major shift in the battle for who raises the child. You, us, the family, or the government? A lot of the media covered the June 25 Supreme Court ruling in Maryland affirming the right of religious parents to opt their children out of LGBTQ-themed lessons. This was a defining moment for parental authority in education. And across the country, parents, fathers especially, are reasserting that schools should partner with them, not replace them. You see this all the time. Some of these states across the country, you know which ones I'm talking about, they have the craziest laws and rules. And this isn't about politics, right? But schools have gone to the extreme. And just one tiny small example, there are certain things that happen with your children while you're in school. And some of these states have laws where the school doesn't have to tell you what's going on with your child and can actually make some decisions on your child's behalf without you knowing anything. And that is insanity. Like, where do the schools get the right to make decisions for their children over the rights of fathers or families and parents in general? Studies connected to the DOJ and public safety organizations, and this has been going on for a long time, and this is not just this recent administration, they show that father absence predicts higher community violence even after adjusting the other factors. It's a deeper truth. When boys grow up without examples of order, they seek it in chaos. Investing in fatherhood and mentorship is crime prevention. This is not a male chauvinist rant. This is not to minimize the value of single mother homes. I'm a product of one. My dad left when I was very young, and I didn't have a father figure. My mother picked up the pieces, and she did an incredible job raising myself and my brother and my sister. And there were times where There were times where it was rough not having a father. And I'm going to be honest with you, there is no way a woman can take the role of a father. Can they do the jobs that a lot of dads do? For the most part, absolutely. My mom picked up every area where I didn't have a father, but I'm a firm believer that every child is best off by having a mother and by having a father that love them deeply and live under the same roof. Call me traditional, but that's just the bottom line. And listen, outside of all the statistics and the studies that support that, I'm a product of a single parent family. There are times where a mother cannot, no matter how hard she tries, replace a father. And my children were young when I got divorced, and I swore that I would never in a billion years not live and sleep under the same roof as my children after the divorce. And I did every possible thing in my power to make sure that happened. And in New York, it's a state where most women get residential custody of their children, and that wasn't happening for me. So I got residential custody of my children, and for the better part of these last years, they did see their mother, but I took a large role as a single dad raising them. And it was right around the time where my daughter went off to college, and it was just me and the boys. And as much as I did every possible thing I could to fill in areas where there wasn't a woman in the home living with us, it's impossible. Like, there are things, if you don't grow up with two parents in your household, I don't care what anyone says, you grow up with a void. How big that void is, it's all relative, you know? But I remember saying to someone one time, I feel sad for my kids. I feel like they got robbed. And she said to me, "What do you mean? You do such a great job. You do everything." There's no substitute for having both a mother and a father in a home. I knew from a very young age that my defining roles in life were going to be fatherhood and being a great husband. And those two things were so important to me. And after 18 years of marriage, when it was pulled out from under me, I took on as much responsibility as I could. I mean, I know personally growing up, there were times where I wanted a dad, going to all the sporting events, and my mom was there. And I wanted a dad at those events. I wanted to go hunting. I wanted to do so many different things with my dad. Family dinner with just your mom and your siblings. Holidays with just your mom. School plays, sporting events, graduations with just your mom. And you get through it all, but I always wanted a dad. I remember being with my friends who had active dads and going over to their house, and everything was different. The dynamics of dinner, you know, what they spent some of their free time doing was just different than what I was doing. And I always wanted that. I always wanted to have a relationship with a man who would be putting his confidence in me to carry on the family legacy and traits that he would be teaching me. And I got robbed of all of that. Boys are falling behind. They're disengaging from education and purpose. Men are now the minority on campuses, and the completion gap keeps widening. The solution isn't forcing college, it's reigniting purpose through trades, service, and strong father figures who set expectations. There's also been a recruiting crisis for the U.S. military. Even they are feeling the absence of male leadership. There's been a cultural decline in patriotism. Fathers transmit duty. When fathers go silent, callings disappear. Restoring fatherhood is not just private morality, it's a national survival mechanism. A father's role isn't control, it's presence. It's provision, not just money, but vision. It's protection from chaos outside and weakness within. A real father doesn't just need applause. He shows up every day. He sets the tone. He absorbs the hits. He builds something that lasts. You've seen it firsthand. The player who never had a dad show up. First practice, a coach finally does work with the kid. His grades rise, fights drop, leadership forms. Fatherhood restores order. This is not a fight against single mothers or modern families. It's a call to all men to step forward, to lead, teach, and protect. The dinner table. Turn your phones off. Share the day's high, low, and who you helped. Consistency builds trust. Dinner time is so important. It's such a simple thing, and it's rare these days with DoorDash and Uber Eats and running around, and there's so many easy options for convenience, and all that does is take away a once very, very important dialogue that families had. And it's something that imparts so much on children. It is an opportunity for fathers to really demonstrate leadership. And if you're running around and trying to adhere to crazy schedules and you can't sit down for a family dinner every night, pick a night of the week. Do it on Sunday or whatever night works for you. But the importance of having dinner and conversing about the day and speaking about family values and topics in a safe space at your dinner with your family, there's no substitute for that. Not only is it an opportunity for you to stay in the loop on what's going on in the daily lives of your children, but it's an opportunity to speak about family values, ideologies, the personal branding of your family, right? What's the makeup of your family? What do you guys believe in? It's a chance for fathers to set the tone on many of these things through conversations about business, current affairs, what's going on in the news, politics and religion, and some things that you maybe don't speak about in public. It's a chance to have these candid conversations and challenge each other and debate. Years ago, it was okay to disagree. Politics, religion, or anything else, people had open dialogues. Growing up as a kid, I remember so many times at family dinner, in school, even in public places where people debated each other. And a lot of what you see in the greater society that we live in, all this craziness and extremism, is a result of people losing respect for one another and not having candid conversations, respectful ones. And guess what? It all starts in the home. And fathers, we have a responsibility to entertain those conversations at home and set the moral compass of our family. Speak to our kids and come up with ideologies that we believe in. If we're not teaching them here, you know who's teaching them? TikTok, YouTube, the fiction movies that are on television. That's who's teaching them. Consistency builds trust. With school, know what's being taught. Fathers, build relationships with teachers. Parental rights mean active participation. Be involved in your children's classes, their academics, their relationships with their teachers. Don't just leave it to the sports, right? There's a lot of dads out there that are involved in the sports, and anytime a ball's thrown out, they're on the sideline. But what about academics? Be an active participant in everything that they do at school. Encourage them to study, be on honor roll, and impart the value that academics are extremely important. It's not just about sports. Hold them accountable for doing homework. Log into their Blackboard or whatever online portal they have for school and keep tabs on it. Know what's going on, know what's due. That structure, your children knowing that you're involved, is sometimes the difference in whether their assignments are getting done, whether they care about a test or they're just showing up and winging it. Teach your children to go into school and introduce themselves to teachers on the first day. When they have a relationship with the teacher, at the very least, the teacher is going to know that they care about their class, and there's a certain amount of respect that naturally goes along with that. If you're just showing up, you're just one of the many students in the class, that's great. But guess what? If you actually establish a relationship as a student with the teacher, and the teacher thinks that you actually care about their subject, that's going to go a really, really long way if you struggle or you need a little extra help. Get your sons into real teams where discipline is demanded. Football and team sports train masculine traits like courage, leadership, sacrifice, instead of shaming them, right? There's all this talk about toxic masculinity. These young boys are growing up in today's societies feeling bad about their masculine traits. It's ridiculous. Another thing you don't see a whole lot of: competence and shop, the trades. Shop was a great class when I was growing up. A lot of schools don't even have it. Teach the practical skills: fix, build, budget, sharpen, wire. Competence is confidence. I probably have 5 or 6 projects that I made in shop. Fathers, it's our jobs to teach our sons and daughters about these things. When I renovated my first home, I general contracted the whole job. Pretty much ran the whole entire job myself, and I did quite a bit of work myself. And when my kids had downtime, they watched and helped with sheetrock, spackling, painting. They watched me do electrical. Kids are like sponges when they're young, and especially in today's day and age, and especially if you live in a very entitled, affluent area like we do here in Long Island, New York, a lot of kids, they're not doing that. The family's paying to have someone do that. And so these kids grow up in a very sterile environment when it comes to having practical knowledge about the trades and things that we used to learn in shop. And listen, doesn't mean that you have to grow up to be an electrician or mechanic or whatever the case may be, although those are very good paying jobs with great benefits nowadays. And there's a shortage of people in the trades. Doesn't mean that you have to grow up doing that. But guess what? Fathers, if you're raising a son that can't change a tire or seal a driveway or paint a wall properly and know how to clean the brushes and rollers afterwards or wire an electrical outlet, like these are just basic things that we're doomed with the next generation if we're not able to do this. Every kid out there can work all aspects of a cell phone. They could tell you every single app and how to work it and everything else. They could order DoorDash, Uber Eats. They can order from Amazon and have whatever they want delivered to their house the very next morning at 4 a.m. How many of them know how to paint? How many of them know how to change spark plugs on a lawnmower? It amazes me how many boys don't know how to shake a hand. They don't know how to tie a necktie. They don't know how to change the oil in a car. They don't know how to paint a wall and rinse paintbrushes. How many of them actually know how to pump gas? I know in the region that I live, it's very entitled, it's affluent. Half of these kids don't even know how to pump gas. And again, it's a different world, but some of these things are so crucial, setting the tone for our society in older age. I didn't have the luxury of my dad teaching me all these things because he left when I was young. It's easy to let technology and society raise your kids as a father, right? You think they're going to get everything they need from YouTube and all the apps and their phone and everything else that's going on out there. And I see a lot of fathers just being lazy. Even if you're not absent, don't be lazy. Don't be complacent. Be involved in your children's lives and take it upon yourself to set your family identity, your core values. Teach them these things from the trades and a lot of things that every man should know growing up. Teach them the quiet hour spirit. Pray together. Read something challenging. Order the inner life so the outer life stands. We're not looking to blame single moms. We honor them. We're calling for men to step up, not step on anyone. The stats are facts. We don't care about partisanship. It's not about politics. Masculinity is not the problem. Vice is the problem. Masculinity under virtue, discipline, restraint, courage, and service is the solution. We don't need perfect men. We need present men. Turn off the noise. Tighten your circle. Those buddies that share the same ideologies that you're raising your sons with, spend time with them. Encourage your sons to spend time with their sons. Everything we can do will create a stronger foundation. You're a sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So figure it out. Make sure your sons are spending time with people that have a good moral compass. those special coaches, teachers. Maybe it's a brother, uncle, grandfather. The men who set the standard and expectation that are going to help you raise good young men, those are the people you want to double down with and spend the time with. If you're a father, your house is your front line. If you're a son, learn the code and carry it farther than we did. Every generation is supposed to get better. Take the time to create excellence. That's all I got for you today. I'm Benjamin Carey. You can follow me on social media at Benjamin J. Carey. This is Byronic Heroes, the podcast. You can watch it on YouTube, subscribe. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, or your favorite podcasting platform. See you next time. This was Byronic Heroes, forged by fire, built for legacy. Click subscribe to join us next time.